Hey YouTube. It's a little early on Tuesday morning. I'm getting ready to do a drive down to Orlando, so I figured I'd get a little bit of a clip in some early morning hours before I get on the highway. See what FSD Beta 8.2 looks like. A little unprotected left here, oncoming traffic from the left. Autopilot creeping forward is the indication. I got cars coming from the left. Alright, it creeped up. Okay, it should be clear to go now if it wants. Nice. And it's completely clear on the right. Yeah, so it waited, it creeped. And my windshield wipers just went off again. Interesting. Did that the other day. Not sure why it's doing that. Now they're on high. Huh. Little wonky machine learning code going on there. I'm going to go ahead and clean the windshield with them and get them to move, get a little pollen off the windscreen. See if just activating them does anything. Poor weather detected. That's interesting. I wonder. I mean, I do have a little bit of water spotting on the windscreen right now, but it should not be detected as poor weather. Windshield wipers off. Just use the voice command to see if that will take over. Looks like it did for a second. All right, we'll look around this intersection a little bit. See, the traffic is coming from the right now. It's looking pretty far back. Got a school bus coming that should be stopping on these railroad tracks. See what that looks like. Looks like he's gonna have to wait back there behind the railroad tracks. Okay, now here he comes. He's coming across. There's the school bus, nice long purple, and he did the right on red after he cleared the tracks. Three greens and one red, three greens and one red. That looks appropriate. And the greens are brighter, which means they're the controlling lights. A little bit of a weave there in that turn lane as the white line disappeared. Kind of weaved over a smidge. It used to do that a lot more than it does now. Still not perfect. I would call that general lane centering logic. As long as it's not jerky, those sort of things don't bother me as much because I know they're solvable. See the yellows very nicely on the other side with this night mode and this light setting. It's kind of good to look at the colors a little bit more. Obviously green, you know, is your follow me car. Yellow is opposing traffic. See, it weaved a little bit left there and it came back to the right again. Purple is usually used to designate a median. red is usually designating a road edge of some sort, and then the white obviously is designated white lines, and yellow uses yellow lines. There's a lot of symbology used on this screen, and believe it or not, there's not a manual for it to explain it, and we've asked Tesla for some information on it, and it's not that they said no, they just didn't come back with an answer, so that usually implies no. I know a lot of you in the comments have done a lot of math and a lot of analysis, and have sort of figured out all the colors on your own. Look at all these yellows is for traffic on the other side. Because in that drone video there was quite a bit of discussion that I thought was very, very good about how the car was determining whether it could go across the traffic, but the colors of these oncoming cars were changing, and I think that's deep-seated in the perception of what the cars are, whether they're oncoming, whether they're traffic that isn't a collision risk. And I think looking at that on the visualization will continue to help me understand what the car is thinking, but I don't have it memorized. Maybe I need to have a little cheat sheet in here so I don't have to memorize it while I'm also focusing on driving and talking at the same time. Okay, in about a mile, I'm jumping on the interstate, and then going to be heading south down to Orlando. I probably won't do much filming after the merge on the interstate, just because navigating on autopilot, is pretty much visible to everyone, and I don't like to make the videos too long. I used a blinker. I didn't hear it, but it had the blinker on for lane changes for this intersection up here. I know navigating on autopilot is cool too, but these videos aren't about that necessarily, other than maybe where the code merges, which is what I like to do with the overpasses and the on-ramps and off-ramps. Here's what I'm talking about. I normally can't talk about this during the day, but these lights up here are either bright or very faded, and that indicates whether or not the system perceives them as controlling. So if you see these two red lights are bright, and actually now that there's two green lights and they're both bright, that means they're controlling. Controlling means it's going to follow their direction. Some of the stop sign confusion, okay, it's changing out of the correct lane, and it just changed back. Whoa, when it weaves, golly, I know they're going to think I'm drunk here. All right. And now it's going back. So, wow. If there was a car behind me close, he would really be confused. All right, guys, I'm not going to let it go much further. All right, that was a bad sequence of lane changes that make me look like I'm from out of town and don't know where I'm going. Wow. They weren't unsafe because I think it was clearing the area, but to the people behind me, I went this lane, that lane, this lane, that lane 3 times, and I'm not sure what it was going through in its little neural network mind to make it so confused, whether or not it was interaction with the traffic or what. Okay, here we come on this merge, and it's clear to the left, so lane like we always do, which frustrates me. I had one commenter say you don't need to use your blinker there. I was taught you do, so I think it's appropriate to indicate that I want to get over, even though the road is going to force me to get over. That kind of gives the indication to the people that might be oncoming to give you a break and give you either a spot in front of them or behind them. So I think the blinker is appropriate there personally. But in any case, that was a few minutes of my initial drive up to the interstate. I'll put this up sometime today. Leave your comments below. Always appreciate the conversation. Thanks everybody for watching.